work really good with public blinded. Your book members. You have been programmed. You now interrupt your regular program.
Nuestras exigencias.
Disembodied Poetics as a game of infinitely jeweled hyperbolic spores of Blakeian cosmic giggle, hide and seek. Symbiosis is an ubiquitous feature of life, the bittersweet entanglement of consciousness. Or at least that's what Nanakatsitsen, or the mushroom people, say anyways. An analogy can be drawn between the relationship of the two microbiomes and mythology in a matter of scale, emanating the Gnostic motto as above, so below. Observations can be drawn in the world of biogeography might apply to the behavior of narrative as a part of an ecosystem.
Disembodied Poetics teaches us that ideas are strange attractors, that our minds get pulled into their orbit. So just be curious and be with some of this abstract display of a collective mind share. Please, please, please be open to the creative participation of the whole. What is the value of novelty? Like many transformations, both physical and spiritual, the change undergone by a caterpillar away from prying eyes is so great that it's easy to wonder how much of the original remains after it breaks free of its shell. If you cut open a chrysalis shortly after it forms, you won't find a caterpillar morphing gradually into a butterfly with well-defined intermediate stages. Instead, the chrysalis is filled with a liquid-like substance, the result of the caterpillar's body breaking down or dissolving into a soup of
As the internet further acts as a representation of social networks, analysis can be assisted through elaborate real-time modeling and analysis of a global narrative machine. Myths are the primary selectors of social motility, even if not a motive. It is not as if we read and enact our lives like a play. We are tugged and pulled by them, as they are simultaneously created by us and creating us, existing at all the junctures in which our world overlaps with one another. Myths arise as relationships, points of intersections. They present within us a context, and it is in this context in which they must be understood. These relationships are complex and involve an open ambiguity about their power dynamics. The relationship between the ritual object and the work of art, an individual audience member, and the relationship between audience members all occur within the framework provided by our myths themselves, especially the most inaudible but ever-present whispers of the past. Finally, myths are strange attractors, a set of values towards which a system tends to evolve. A body plan defines a space of possibilities.
Yet somehow, this soup magically transforms into a butterfly or a moth, and along the way pieces of the caterpillar survive. There is a continuity between the old and the new.
The structure is given by topological invariants called attractors, as well as by the dimensions of the space, dimensions that represent the degrees of freedom or relative ways of changing of concrete physical or chemical dynamical systems. In the biological and social sciences, on the other hand, we do not yet have the appropriate formal tools to investigate the structure of much more complex possible spaces. This means that the tools of literacy, psychology, and social analysis may be all set loose on our myths, with the recognition that this is not considerably more than a purely academic issue. Beyond that, Astutely, neurological and mathematical linguistic models will continue to have their place. Using multidisciplinary approaches, it is an open discussion that could benefit as much as from exploration of cognitive psychology as it can be from analysis of literary symbols or the direct experience of shamanic rituals. This is not a science, but doesn't make our aims any less legitimate. And science can even provide us with the most useful metaphors. And what we learn in this domain may never be certain, but nonetheless vital to do so. Not only in the hopes of understanding ourselves, but more troubling because these semantic and sentiment systems are already at work in our social technological ecosystems, our media, our social systems, our markets, as well as part of the ever-evolving web of languages darting across the globe and bouncing off satellites. We hope this reprisal of myth leads us to new ideas and questions which none of us would formulate on our own. It is a group endeavor and benefits the most from interactions of minds in the commons. What it becomes is in all our hands.